Welcome to Humpdays. I'm Alfie Rosselli.
And I'm Rebecca Rochon. So nice to have you guys back. Thank you for all the support lately. We've reached 100 subscribers.
Wow, that's a lot. Like, I didn't think we'd get 3. So thank you guys very much for your support. We are very grateful. Thank you so much.
Let us know what you want to hear, because I feel like we're figuring out all different topics, formats with this new rebrand. I think definitely, I don't know, I feel like today we're going to bring it back to sticking to more of relationships.
We're talking about daddy issues.
Daddy issues.
Daddy. I think this is a fun one.
Me too. It came out. It's probably going to be a lot of me just asking you questions from a woman's perspective. But I don't want it. This certainly, there's a lot of guys out there that are talking about dating women with like trust issues or. Yeah.
I think there's a stigma where it's just like girls with daddy issues are crazy and you should stay away from them.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go through like what are daddy issues,
and I just don't think
what causes them. Mm-hmm. What are daddy issues? What causes them? And if you want to date a girl with daddy issues, how do you go about doing it? Yeah. Because it's not like they're just undateable, but they are difficult.
It is. Yeah, I don't want us to be shitting on women with daddy issues. In fact,
because a lot of people do. Because a lot of people have daddy issues.
And this one's going to be primarily for the men listening, but I think women can learn a lot from this too. And this came about because the other day, Alfie, you were like, there was a girl that walked into a cafe and you were just like, oh, she has daddy issues. And I was like, how do you know? And you said just the tattoos alone was like a sign. And then I was like, okay, is this a thing? And then I remember also your friend James, or should I not say his name? Okay. And then I remember your friend James, he was like, oh, I just love women with daddy issues. I'm just so attracted to that. And I was just like, okay, this is a whole phenomenon that I haven't given much thought to. And I want to ask you some questions from the female perspective. How would you define daddy issues?
Well, I think daddy issues is just a woman that either had a dad that was absent either physically or emotionally. So a dad just wasn't around for her to see what a positive male role model is like. So she just goes around through life just trying to find that validation through men. So either they'll be very clingy, mm-hmm. They'll tend to date older men to fill that hole. They'll be very jealous. Yeah. They'll be I think if you're dating, you can tell if you're dating a girl with daddy issues right away if you cancel plans at last minute. Because by the way, guys, if you're dating a girl with daddy issues, never cancel plans at the last minute because they will not understand, because they will feel they have abandonment issues. So if you cancel plans at the last minute, and you could have the best excuse possible. You'd be like, hey, babe, I got hit by lightning. I'm actually dead right now. I'm actually calling you from heaven. I'm not going to be able to make it tonight. She'll be like, who is she? Who is that bitch? Where are you right now?
Actually, you canceled on our first dates because you were sick.
Yeah, I had COVID.
Probably had COVID.
I had COVID.
We think it's COVID.
It was just like, listen,
we didn't know at the time.
I literally texted you. I'm like, hey, I think I'm dying. Just like, I'm not trying to get out of this date. It was our first date too. I'm like, hey, I'm knocking on heaven's door right now.
And then I invited you to something a couple days later, and you're like, I'm still.
No, it was dying. A week later.
A week later.
It was a week later. I'm like, listen.
I don't know what's happening.
I think it's gotten worse.
It must have been meant to be then, because that's pretty. Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot to have 2 dates. Well, I don't know. I just knew it was true. I don't know why. I just knew that you were actually dying. Yeah, but I think. Yeah,
it's that woman intuition, because you don't have daddy issues, so you didn't think I was lying.
Maybe.
I think that's it. Because okay, I'll take his word for it. I'll take it at face value.
Yeah, I have a great dad.
Yeah, it's true.
An amazing dad. Yeah. But I'm sure we all everyone has some kind of issue with their parents, no?
Yeah, of course. No one does a perfect job.
But it's definitely,
it's just better to have them than not have them.
Yeah, of course. And there's a scale, right? There's definitely a range of daddy issues, right? There's complete. You were saying,
Well, there's that
how
one.
do you define that?
Okay, so I think there's two types of daddy issues. There's the one that a woman is constantly looking for validation from male figures. They're looking to fill that hole. Like it's they're like a fire searching for oxygen, and then it's just like they just feed off of it, feel off the male attention,
Yeah.
so to speak. And then there's the complete opposite. Like there's no middle ground. The opposite is like they're just cold to any type of masculine energy, where they're just like their father was really mean and horrible to them, or just not there, so they associate that with like all men, where it's like
they're a threat.
like men are the worst. Like you can't warm them up to it. Like the more you try to warm them up to being nice about men, or even showing that, they just roll their eyes and be like, oh, no, men are the worst. Like
Because it just set the standard of
because the
what-
standard's just set. They're like, all male energy is the worst. I'm
Yeah.
fine on my own. I don't need anybody. I don't need a man. Women can do. Like they don't believe in like yin and yang, like because they've never experienced it. So it's just like they don't believe like a male energy and a female energy working together.
And I guess it's a whole nother issue of why dads are that way, or why men are abandoning.
Yeah. So
their
guys, don't
daughters.
abandon your kids, because
Yeah.
you're gonna create very bitter women out there. So
It's very important.
it's very
We
important.
know, but they know. I mean, we don't want to shit on women with daddy issues because there's a lot
Well, no,
of
we're not,
strengths
because
too.
there's
Like,
a lot. The thing is,
are
that
they attractive?
they're very attractive because they want your attention and validation, and that makes a guy feel important. So that's why it's like
Yeah.
the relationship starts off so hot and steamy, because they always want to be with you. They always want your attention. So like even the sex is good because when with daddy issues, they don't know boundaries. So you can push those boundaries sexually, physically, like with each other, and just like have just like one great fiery, passionate night after another. And then because they have abandonment issues, when it kind of like tends to like cool down a bit, they're always like, "Are you not into me anymore? What you haven't called me today? I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Do you hate me?" And that's what guys are like, "Oh shit, she's clingy and crazy." But it's like, it's not. It's just she hasn't had that
Being worried.
Being worried.
Yeah.
Should I do that?
For a valid reason, I guess.
So that's why people always say like girls with daddy issues are great in bed.
Yeah.
It's
I hear
'cause-
that a lot. Like, I hear that from guys all the time.
Yeah, because girls that don't have daddy issues, a lot of the times like, "Oh, let's take it slow," or "Let's do this," and you're just like, "Oh."
I don't really have that part.
Huh?
I don't really. I align with the girls with daddy issues in
Yeah,
that way.
maybe you do. Maybe, yeah, that's true.
I'm like, But yeah, that makes sense. I mean, there's definitely the stereotype of them being like loose and easy lay,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that true?
No, I think that is true because of the abandonment issues and the validation. So they think if like I don't put out, then he won't be interested in me and he won't talk to me anymore. So like they put out on the first date.
Yeah, maybe.
But a lot of women do nowadays, because like sometimes
Yeah,
like
that's
it's
the
just that's
thing.
like that's the hookup culture right now. Where it's just
Yeah.
like women are discovering like, hey, sex is just as good like on the first date, third date. Like I don't have to wait. Like
And it's important to
it's like
find out if it's good
Yeah.
from the guy too. Like,
Exactly.
you know. So I mean, women want to know.
Yeah, 'cause we're not doing
what they're
arra-
getting into.
yeah, we're not doing arranged marriages anymore. So
No. So like so that's not really the best way to tell, because if a woman has daddy issues, because most women, or like modern women, as Andrew Tate would put it, are like more open in that way, and like we're not like saving ourselves for marriage as often, you know.
I guess that's true. So I guess a lot of women nowadays have daddy issues.
You think? Yeah, that's what I mean though. Like the chicken or the egg. What is it?
That's true. Like what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
Because I do think there's
Like, what is a sign? Or sorry, that's the wrong thing. Is chicken and egg? But it's like, what's correlation? So, what's correlation and what's causation then?
in what sense? What do you mean? Like what's causing the daddy issues?
Well, is the sleeping around being a bad bitch? Is that societal first or daddy issues? Like, which one is it more?
I think, well, the thing is, like, it's hard to explain, but like, as a guy who's like, you've either had sex with a girl with daddy issues on the first date, or you've had sex on the first date with a girl that doesn't have daddy issues. Like, you can just tell.
Okay,
But
let's
it's
go
just-
into this. What
It's
is it?
just like one is just like a slobber knocker of a fight. Like it's just like it's going 5 rounds all the way, and the other one's just like there's like
They ask you like a question.
Well, no, yeah, there's like, I don't know, there's like a little bit of like a sense of romance to it. You kiss here, there. And it's like, no, I don't want it. I was like, yeah, you do. Like kind of like a je ne sais quoi type of dance. Whereas just like the girl with daddy issues is just like,
What do you want?
she's just fucking like going down on you like right away, like top off. Shit's getting heated. She has toys with her in her bag. She's
Ready to go.
She's already calling in sick to work because it's gonna be a long night.
You've had some good experiences then.
Well, I don't think you can have a bad. Well, the good experience. You start with the good experience, and then it turns into a bad experience.
How so?
Well, it's because then they just always accuse you of something. They have trust issues. So it's just like you have this hot, passionate night where it's just like, which is usually reserved for people that have like been together for a really long time and like, you know,
Think?
I think it's like you're having like when you have sex with a girl with the daddy issues or when you're fucking crazy, it's like you're having makeup sex every time. So like you're essentially like hate fucking every time. So it's just like that's kind of like that type of fucking is like reserved for like your partners where you're really mad at each other, and then like but you make up and then it's just like, oh, let's just like get intimate and like you just really go at it.
Sounds healthy.
Sounds healthy, or like, you know, like or like a drunken stupor. I don't know, but
Sure.
it's just like there's different aspects of it. Like
Yeah.
when you're in a relationship, it's just like you have different types of sex. But when you're banging crazy, it's always this one certain.
Don't say crazy.
When you're banging girls with daddy issues,
Yeah.
when you're banging girls with daddy issues, you are essentially having the same type all the time, or else they'll think something's wrong. Like, oh, why did you do it like this time? Like they just always think that like you're not into it or this or that, and you have to have that conversation.
Just like worried about.
Just worried about you all the time. Like I had one of my friends said like he was dating a girl that really had daddy issues because they went on a car ride. Like they went on a whole extravagant trip together.
Yeah.
You know, they went to like a football game, they went skiing, they did a whole day together, and they're driving home. It's like a 2-hour drive home. And he was just quiet. He didn't talk to her.
Yeah.
And that upset her. She's like, "What? Like, why aren't you talking to me? Like, is there something wrong between us? Like, what's going on?" And he's like, "I'm exhausted. I like normally don't really talk. Like, I'm a man of few words already,
Yeah.
and I'm exhausted."
Well,
But
wouldn't she be used to the Wouldn't she be used to the abandonment of someone being quiet and silent?
Well, I think maybe they've had that before where like maybe their father wasn't talking to them very much. Like he was silent with her and then was mad, or like they associate silence with something
Anxiety.
bad, something negative, and anxiety. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
it's quiet. Like, what's going on? What's wrong?
Yeah, a lot of men just don't talk.
Yeah.
Women are talking all the time about their feelings and stuff, and a lot of men just don't talk about their feelings. Some
Yeah.
do. It's good too.
That's
Have
right.
balance.
Well, there used to be like, it used to be easy to, that's true. There is a stigma. Like, you can't call girls with daddy issues crazy because I think that's why there's no more tramp stamps. Like before, you can tell a girl had daddy issues is if she had a tramp stamp. But then it's just like people started calling girls with tramp stamps crazy.
They call them tramps.
Yeah, they call them tramps.
That with a stamp.
Yeah,
to,
but
label,
it's
to
just
mark
like-
them.
Yeah, to mark them.
Yeah.
It's like they're letting you know if you fuck around, I'm gonna burn your house down. It's just like that's the girl.
And then people just stopped getting them because
Yeah.
it became a warning sign.
That's the girl. If you ever get a text from your ex, you're gonna find your clothes on the front lawn in a giant bonfire.
I heard they're making a comeback.
What, tramp stamps?
Yeah.
What would you get? Would you get a butterfly or would you just go like off the board?
I actually like hate that part of my body, so I don't think I would get.
Wouldn't that be
anything.
covering up to like make it nicer?
No, it would be. Do you want me to get a tramp stamp?
Yeah, get a tramp stamp.
Okay. What would you want on it?
Oh,
What?
I want a bullseye.
No. I'd get a butterfly. I don't know.
Oh no, that's lame. You're not getting.
Well,
a
isn't that the
butterfly.
classic?
Yeah, it's a
I would just
classic.
go
A
super
classic one or
classic.
tribal. It'd be
Like tribal, like with a
Tribal.
heart in it.
Yeah.
Like like it'd have to be like an ironic move, so that'd be cool, like very 90s chic.
yeah,
The 90s are coming back, so I think that's why. But you did mention tattoos generally
yeah.
were a sign of someone with daddy issues. Why is that the case?
Well, I just think it's like a family dinner. Like if your dad had tattoos, then I guess it's okay. Like if your dad was a tattoo artist and he's always there, then it's like, oh, you're gonna get your first tattoo. It's something you do with your daughter. It's like a bonding thing. So it is kind of different with that aspect. But if like your whole family has tattoos, or your whole family doesn't have tattoos, and you decide to get all tattoos, it's just like you don't want to be part of your family type of thing.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's just like, oh, I want to be the black sheep. I'm not like into you guys, but it's just like there's no father there to say, there's no family nucleus there. So it's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a rebel. I'm just gonna get tattoos. I'm gonna make this my identity. This is like.
So do you mean like a tattoo piercing person rather than a person with a tattoo or two? Because
Yeah, one
honestly,
or two is fine.
like,
one or two is fine. I think it's like the
everyone
sleeves.
has a one or two.
Yeah,
at
everyone
this
has
point.
one or two. It's like, oh, what's one or
It's
two?
like
But
the
it's like
sleeves,
it's
aggressive.
not. It's like it's the aggressiveness of it.
Yeah.
It's the aggressiveness. It's the dyed jet black hair, straight across bangs, but the bangs are bright red, and then they got like nose piercings. Just like, I wonder if her dad was around.
Yeah.
Into motorbikes, into guys who ride bikes. They're like 20 years older than her. It's just like.
Yeah.
You want like a strong male figure there.
Yeah.
And that's what you're trying to attract. Like you've never had like a strong male figure in your life. And like by doing that,
It's like, can you handle me?
it's just like, can you handle me? Like,
Can you?
because I have this hard shell on the outside because I've been
Yeah.
hurt so much.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have abandonment issues that like, I need a tough guy to like, crack this nut.
Reminds me of the Lana Del Rey ride video.
Yeah. What was in that video?
She's just like, she's going around and like making out with older, like Harley dirt. What is it called?
What?
When you're always on the road with a motorcycle.
Nomad? No. What is it?
Hogs.
Hogs?
No.
No, she's just driving around with guys on
The
motorbikes.
road dogs. I don't know.
Road Dogs? I think that's a movie with Tim Allen.
I think that might be it. I don't know. So that type of music video really gave like a woman's lens into why she's kind of pursuing that like father figure type.
And there's nothing
right?
wrong with that. There's a lot of women that do that, and it's
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
No, like it's just
It's not like women who have daddy issues are never going to find happiness. They're never going to be in a loving, happy,
in fact they might be even
positive
more.
relationship. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they definitely know what they don't want. They don't want
Yeah.
their deadbeat dad.
And like I've been totally naive going into some relationships and just
Yeah.
being like, whoa, because like I don't know, I don't feel like I've
Because you
known
had a
that
positive,
guy.
you had a positive male influence with your father. So when you see a dirtbag, you're like, oh
It's
shit,
very confusing.
yeah,
But so I feel like they're actually steps ahead.
yeah.
Like
that's
women with
Well, that's
daddy
interesting
issues.
because it's like you, like a girl with daddy issues, can see that and not get into it. Like if
Yeah.
she sees it at first, she won't get into it. But with someone without daddy issues, they can see it. They won't see it, but
No.
they'll get into it. But if a girl doesn't have daddy issues, she'll be able to get out of it. She'll be like, oh, I don't want this. This isn't what I want. But a girl with daddy issues, if she didn't see it at first and she ends up seeing it after a while,
Yeah.
she's stuck in that relationship because she's scared of abandonment and she doesn't want to be alone. And like that's when they get into toxic relationships.
And if they and in a lot of ways that's just someone putting up a boundary.
And,
Like-
well, at the beginning, yeah, they're like, okay, I don't want to date this guy. This is bad.
At
But
the
if-
beginning, yeah.
yeah.
But in the relationship even it's like I guess it can come out in a maybe it's like coming out in an unhealthy way or whatever, but in a lot of ways that's a boundary. It's like hey, why aren't you communicating with me? Like things like that. They're like trying to communicate more. They're trying to like they're trying to be like, this makes me uncomfortable. Like, they're not just like going along with it, quietly.
once-
Although actually one side of the spectrum.
One
right?
side especially, like when they are in a relationship, like
Yes.
once if the guy flips, like they start dating a guy and everything's good, and then he flips, becomes that asshole.
Yeah.
They're kind of like stuck in that relationship. Oh, well, he was good. He used to be good. Like he was, like there's this nice spot to him, and they always focus on that as opposed to like
I would argue the opposite.
with girls with daddy issues.
I think girls with daddy issues would cut that off at that point, whereas women without would be trapped by that because they'd be like, wait, what's happening?
No, because I think like there's like a 3 strikes rule. Okay, this isn't the life I want because like I have an example of what the life I want because
Yeah,
you have good
sure.
parents. So it's like this isn't a loving relationship. This is clearly toxic. I don't like how I feel.
Yeah.
Because I know like my parents don't feel that way about them. So they other they don't talk
that's
to
right.
each other like that.
That's right.
As opposed to like there's like there's like these moments that are really good. And it's just that's why they tend to stay in toxic relationships.
Right.
But having said that, like there is ways to like acknowledge someone that has daddy issues, but there is a way to like help them through it, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
What do you think?
Like, well, I think, like I think it's just the little things, like just do little things to help know that you care, because they never really got attention from a male figure. So like, don't go overboard. Like you have to set boundaries. Don't make them think about things in the future. Like we're going to be together forever, because that'll just mess with their head. But just do little tiny things like keep air in her tires, take her out for dinner, get her ice cream when she's out of ice cream.
Yeah.
Give positive affirmation. Be like, oh, I'm really thankful for.
You're just like listing the things that you do in a relationship.
You have daddy issues, and that's how I got you.
I'm working hard on it over here.
But it's just like just focus on doing nice things in the present.
Right.
So as opposed to just false claims on like what will come. Like, oh, maybe one day we should do this, or one day we should do that, and then it kind of overwhelms them. So it's just focus on the present.
Yeah. So this episode, we're just like learning that I have daddy issues.
Yeah. Well, it's just, and also like never, like with all women though, we're just like never demean her. Like even jokingly, because a lot of girls with daddy issues can't take ribs. So like they can't take, so never demean them, never roll your eyes, never talk to them sarcastically.
Right.
Because because the dads usually do that with their kids. Dads usually do that with their daughters. They always they always rib them and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they learn that.
Mm-hmm.
But girls with daddy issues don't have that. So it's like you never demean them, never roll your eyes,
Right.
never make them the butt end of the joke.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yep, that's the advice I can give. That's the start off. That's part one. That's part one of daddy issues. We'll probably have a series.
No, we won't.
We'll have mommy
I would love
issues.
to ask about like guests about it
Yeah.
too. I definitely want to know what their take is, because we heard your take today,
Yeah.
which I think we all learned a lot.
Yeah. You agree with? Yeah, how much of that do you agree with?
How much of it do I agree with?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know necessarily. So I think that it's just like, I don't know. I feel like it's an interesting perspective.
On a scale of Jordan Peterson to Andrew Tate,
How was
1
the
to 10, 1 to 10, where does that rank?
Jordan Peterson is the first one, eh?
Jordan Peterson's like you analyze this perfectly. To Andrew Tate, where it's just like you're going to jail.
Let's do Tate.
I'm closer to Tate. I'm going to jail.
Well, I just think
We
you're
have a pretty big
sassy.
attic. We have a pretty big attic. I can probably traffic a lot of women through there.
That's good. Well, I don't think you should follow in his footsteps in that regard.
No,
You
but
got
I
caught.
do think he knows how to work his way around some women with daddy issues.
I think Jordan Peterson explains things in a lot more of an educational manner.
Sure. And his daughter clearly does not have daddy issues. So that's the point I was making.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, "What is the?"
She saved his life. She brought him to Russia. Like, yeah, that's what you want from your daughter. Like, if I'm dying, bring me to Russia. Like, find me treatment that nobody else in the world is doing. If all other treatment has failed, take me to a far off land
Yeah.
where they'll fix me.
Yeah, he was there for her, wasn't he?
She was there for him.
Both,
Oh yeah, because she had scoliosis as well. Yeah,
and she lost her joints or something.
Yeah.
Horrific.
and then he did that carnivore diet with
Bad
her.
genes.
All right.
I'd have daddy issues from that. She might have daddy issues from that, being like, "Why'd you give me these jeans?"
Why did you give me? Well, it could have been the mom. Who knows?
Could have been.
Yeah.
So on the opposite end of daddy issues is mommy issues.
Yeah. That'll be part 2.
Part 2?
Part
Okay,
2.
we'll leave you hanging.
All right.
I will give my take on mommy issues. I'll go do my research.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Peace.